So let me tell you guys about this guy. Like, there's some people where, like, when you're drinking and you make a bet, like, I bet you won't go up to that girl and ask her out, and he does it. You know that guy is, like, up for anything. You know what I mean? Like, he's up for anything. There's always that one friend. No, let me tell you about this guy. Guy's name is Carl Bushby. So Carl Bushby is a former paratrooper, a British paratrooper, right? And in 1998, he's with a buddy in a bar, right? And they make this bet. His buddy bets him. He's like, basically, dude, they're like talking about what I could do and I'm so tough and stuff like that. He's like, I bet you can't fucking like walk from the tip of South America across the entire globe back to England. And he's like, yeah, I can. So the bet is basically he has to go 36,000 miles and he can't use anything motorized. I think the bet ended up becoming he couldn't use a bike too or whatever. So this is, and there was no point in the bike because he couldn't use most of it anyway. So here's what happened. This dude sets out from Punta Arenas, okay, in southern Chile. So for those of you guys who don't know how the world looks, right? Like South America, right? So southern Chile. So he starts out here in the southernmost point. Okay. Matter of fact, let me just draw a little map of the world so I can show you his trek. I'm gonna do it very okay. You can roast my fucking drawing if you want, but I'm gonna try and make it as easy as possible. So the key points are Alaska. Sorry, Canada, but I gotta do this in an abridged version. Okay. I'm not gonna put Greenland because I already put America here. Okay. So we're just gonna put Russia here. All right. So let me tell you all about his story. All right. So it's a really bad fucking map, but I don't care. Okay. So he starts in the bottom of Chile. All right. On November 1st, 1998. And this guy starts his trek, all right? He expected it to take 8 to 12 years to get from here to England. That's what he expected, okay? Now, he starts his trek, and he has a good time, right? This is 1998. He leaves. Back in 1998, there was no fucking real, internet for everybody. There was no cell phones. There was no fucking, the internet like we know it today. It was a different world, all right? And so he started out on this trip. Now, he goes from the southern part of Chile. He ends up making his way up here, all right? Goes along this route, and then has to go across the Darien Gap. Now, are you guys familiar with the Darien Gap? It's one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's a part between Colombia and Panama, all right? And there are no roads. It is just all jungle. It is completely controlled by the cartels. And it's very fucking dangerous. Like, the government is coming after the cartels are coming after, the government forces. They're trafficking people through there. It's very, very, very dangerous. Okay, it is very dangerous. A lot of people die on the trek, and those are the people that pay coyotes to get them there. And so there's a lot of stories I could tell about this and about how he basically had to, do some certain things he wasn't proud of, whatever. So he gets through there. All right. He makes his way through the Darien Gap, okay? Makes his way up through Mexico, right? Goes to the West Coast, gets up through Canada, gets to Alaska. Now, you might say to yourself, but Stocky, how did he get from Alaska to Russia? Well, guess what? Just like our ancestors made their way across it, he had to wait till it froze over. He had to wait until the Bering Strait froze over. Now, we're talking the Arctic. These are giant fucking just ice in the ocean, okay? That's before global warming, right? It really picked up, so whatever. The problem is, though, is that this ain't the ice age. It's not a solid fucking piece of ice that is iced over for months. It is a very dangerous trek because they're giant ice blocks that are miles long that can break off and float at any time. So he starts across this, and they've got a little canoe he's dragging with them, and he's climbing across, he's trekking across these mile-long ice sheets. One night, they slept, woke up, and they were 20 miles away. It floated 20 miles overnight. They had to re-back over there. Took him 14 days to get across that to Russia. Well, now here's the problem. He gets to Russia. Russia is split up into a lot of different regions. He doesn't have his papers. It's now 2006. Takes him 8 years to get across to Russia. He gets to Russia, he gets detained and sent to prison. The fucking, one of the ministers of the UK call the fucking governor of this region and work something out for him. Okay, cool. he's granted a short-term visa. As he's trekking across Siberia in fucking negative 50 to 100 degree weather, he has to stop and find towns where he can relay to somebody to re-up his visa. Gets snowed in, it's a very long trek. His visa expires during one of these fucking trips, gets found, put in prison again. Now, this is all happening, okay? Dude's going through the fucking Siberian tundra. He then makes his way down to Mongolia, makes his way through there, gets through China, and then he finally gets to, so he gets to Turkmenistan. Now, he's about to go around, okay? He's about to go around, but there's two problems. Russia is here, where he's had a lot of problems. Russia now invades Ukraine. He can't go north into Russia. South of Turkmenistan is Iran. Nuclear deal, all the shit going on. So he has a problem now. He can't go into Russia because there's a war going on and he ain't about to go to prison for being a fucking spy from the UK or some shit like that. He ain't going to Iran because there's fucking, shit going on with Israel and them. He ain't doing that. So he has to cross the Caspian Sea. No one has ever swam the Caspian Sea before. He leaves Turkmenistan and starts swimming across the Caspian Sea. Has to cross the Caspian Sea. Now, there's no way he's swimming that alone. So what they ended up doing is they had the Coast Guard ship from that country follow him. And he would swim for up to 6 hours a day. Now, he would swim up to 6 hours a day, okay? And then they would GPS track where he stopped. He'd get on the ship, sleep in the night, get back in the water there and swim. Swam all the way across. Got to Turkey and started walking across there, okay? Now, he got to the end of that and he's got to wait for another visa. And it's expected that if all goes well, October of this year, he will get back to the UK. Now, his dad isn't going to be there for him when he gets back. Hopefully his mom's still there. And there's like a lot of things to this story that I'd like to say. But think about this, though. Think of the technology that's changed since then. And he spent most of his time in remote areas. He didn't even have a smartphone or a touchscreen tablet until like 2013. Like this dude has been walking and traveling since before some of you guys were born. And he's actually about to end his trek right here. He has been through wars, financial collapses. Like there was times where he was gonna go like certain areas, but he couldn't. He had to wait for the 2008 crisis to come back. He had sponsors helping him get there that stopped during the 2008 crisis. Okay, border controversies and wars. Dude's been through it all. And he's actually gonna return to England in October of this year if all goes well and he gets his visa. But because of a bar bet in 1998 and toxic masculinity, this dude has walked the entire planet from the south of Chile, one continuous walk all the way to England. And he's almost there. So yeah, so when you say about accomplishments and stuff like that, I try not to compare myself to anybody, but that's pretty wild.